This is breaking news from KCCI 8 News.
Now let's get you right to Boone with an update on the search for Kathlynn Shepard.
Fishermen had located the body in the Des Moines River. It was caught in a log jam underneath the Kate Shelley High Bridge, which is located northwest of Boone, Iowa. The body was near the pier on the north side of the new bridge along the east side of the river. The body was still partially covered and concealed by debris and logs in the water. Boone County Sheriff's deputies recovered the body from the river, and the county medical examiner was notified. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at the state medical examiner's office located in Ankeny, Iowa. The body is believed to be that of Kathlynn Shepard. All preliminary indication would support the belief that it is Kathlynn. The state medical examiner will officially determine the identity following the autopsy examination tomorrow morning. This information is still preliminary, but we believe it to be Kathlynn Shepard. It should be noted that there were zip ties found with the body that are consistent with the zip ties used on the 12-year-old that escaped from the custody of Michael Klunder. In addition, we're prepared to release this morning that the clothing is also consistent with that of which Kathlynn was last seen wearing. This morning I'm joined by Webster County Sheriff Stubbs, Boone County Sheriff Ellsbury, the Dayton Police Chief Dunbar, and Special Agent Jim Teal with the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation. My name is Gerard, G-E-R-A-R-D, Myers, M-E-Y-E-R-S. I'm Assistant Director with the Division of Criminal Investigation, Field Operations. We're going to provide an opportunity for the Webster County Sheriff to make a few brief remarks. After some of those dignitaries make some remarks, I will return to the podium for questions. Sheriff.
Thank you. Good morning. Obviously, this isn't quite the outcome that we were looking for at the initiation of this investigation or the abduction. But on the same token, it brings closure for everybody up here, and most importantly, the families. And the family in Dayton, hopefully, if you keep them in your prayers, they will have some closure to this now if it is confirmed that this is Kathlynn's body that was found in the river this morning, or tonight, I'm sorry. I would like to extend a thank you. Some of you, a lot of you I recognize, and I bet we're up to Dayton where this all started, and the agencies that were involved. We had approximately over 150 agencies that were involved in the initial search, not to mention the civilian volunteers that were involved in it, and also the people that didn't really participate in the search but brought food and support in other ways to the area. It shows you what a community can do. This case, you know, went over a couple counties, obviously, Webster County, Boone County. Some of the search went into Hamilton County besides. So it was quite extensive that way. Covered a lot of miles in the river. Had been done too. Obviously the weather didn't cooperate us with the river situation and the rain. But here we are today, and hopefully we're going to bring this to a closure. So I am happy for that aspect of it. It's not the outcome I wanted, obviously, but it is what we have, and at least we have an outcome pending at this point in time for the family's sake. But again, I wanted to thank everybody that participated in it. The list would be so extensive, I'm not quite sure how you would do it and get everybody in there involved without just a blanket thank you for everything. And hopefully now for Webster County, probably Boone County, the town of Dayton, everything will become somewhat what it was. It'll never be the norm that it was before. I guess my saying is for that Webster County, at least in the city of Dayton, we were robbed of some innocence in this whole thing, and it'll never quite be the same, but hopefully time will heal some of those wounds, but the awareness is definitely a lot higher than it ever was before. So thank you. And I'll turn it over to Sheriff Ellsbury from Boone.
I'm going to be saying a lot of the same things as he has said, but I am Sheriff Greg Ellsbury of Boone County, and on behalf of the Boone County Sheriff's Office, I'd like to say, first off, my thoughts and prayers to the families, all the families involved, have been and still remain with us. While the investigation does continue and the identification is determined, I would like to also extend my gratefulness and many thank yous to all who helped with the search. We as well in Boone County had several hundred volunteers and various agencies throughout the state of Iowa helping with the search and covering the many miles of ground and water. This is about Kathlynn Shepard right now, but if I may, let's not forget Desiree also. So thank yous to all involved, and thoughts and prayers to the families. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Ellsbury. Thank you, Sheriff Stubbs. What we'd like to do right now is open up some brief questions. We will answer what we can. And I will also tell you that for those of you who have spoken to over the last couple of weeks, it was our intent this morning, late evening, to have a centralized press event. I assured many of you that when we had a development, we would get out in front of that immediately, and that's what we're doing tonight. Obviously, once there's a final identification made, that will be released through our Public Information Bureau at the Department of Public Safety as well. We'll open it up to questions now.
Was this an area that had been searched before, or is this not, had you not gone this far on the road?
Had not been searched yet. Now, obviously, there's been some reports out. You know, there was an effort put forward by the investigative authorities to commence research tomorrow as a result of the weather conditions. That obviously has been canceled. Any other questions?
Have you spoken to the family?
Yes, the family has been contacted.
How are they?
As you can imagine, this is a difficult circumstance over the last few weeks for them. I think, like many of us who have had the family in our thoughts and prayers, and this is a preliminary point of closure. Obviously, we feel strongly that we want to make a positive identification, but as you can recognize from the information that we've released, we're fairly confident that the unfortunate circumstance this evening was the recovery of Kathlynn.
Can you comment at all on how she died, or whether or not there were any indications of assault prior to her death?
Not at this point. We're not willing to make any comment on that. I will emphasize that the investigation continues to be ongoing to make some other additional determinations, but we're not going to address that at this juncture.
Can you say, given kind of where the body was located, kind of what his timeline might have been in terms of taking them there and dropping that place off?
Well, as noted in my earlier remarks, if you look at that location, it was quite a ways downriver. And as many of you have recognized over the last few weeks, as the investigation was ongoing, the search effort had to be suspended due to the weather conditions. So all I can tell you at this point is that the recovery site was quite a distance downriver. Any other questions? So to close off this evening, early morning, you can expect as soon as we have a positive identification, we will be releasing that. Any further immediate inquiries, we request that they be directed to my attention, and we'll be putting out this, the information that I provided just moments ago will go out as well on our website, so you'll have point of contact information for me as well as those other bullet points. If there are no additional questions, we'll close, and thank you for coming. Thank you.
And you have been watching a live news conference from the Boone Police Department, news that none of us wanted to hear. In fact, the Webster County Sheriff Stubbs said this is not the outcome we were looking for. The authorities have found a body located in the Des Moines River under the Kate Shelley High Bridge near Boone. They said the body was partially covered, concealed by debris. It was an area that had not been searched before. Investigators say this recovery site is in fact quite a distance downriver from where they had been searching. An autopsy scheduled for tomorrow. Investigators again say zip ties found with the body are consistent with that were on the 12-year-old who was also abducted with Kathlynn Shepard. They say the clothing on the body is consistent also with what Kathlynn Shepard was last seen wearing. We will continue to follow this story. KCCI 8 News this morning. Saturday starts at 5. Our teammate coverage begins then. We now get you back to programming.